Are you growing? Is this a relationship in which you feel like because of what the other person brings and because of how you are showing up, you are becoming more of the person you want to be? If you're still growing in a relationship, I think there's still a reason to be there, whether or not it's a quote-unquote bad relationship. I have said before, I don't think relationships are end goals, although I do believe that many people can and should stay with the same person for a lifetime. I think that they are vessels for healing. I think what I would ask myself in this question is like, the bad time versus bad relationship question is like, how are things going in the rest of my life? How are things at work? How is my health? Am I living my purpose? Are my relationships thriving? How are things with my family of origin, with my children? And I wonder if those things are not robust, if there are ways in which I am holding my romantic partner responsible for the totality of my happiness in a way that's inappropriate, if I'm going about really feeding and nourishing these things, like, for instance, am I living my purpose or am I comes through the clouds, and it's defined by 4 traits: calm, clarity, curiosity, and compassion. And so, if you're feeling like you're looking for some sort of something to stand in for God, that's where I would go to, is finding that part of me that is my highest true self, that sort of at the end of the day knows that these other parts, these coping mechanisms, are things that may have outlived their utility in the action of whatever addiction it is that you are currently acting out in that is leading you to a 12-step program. Okay. How do you reconcile the pressure put on women to be thin versus the body positivity movement? They feel diametrically opposed to each other, like every woman has been told their whole life that thinner is better, but now we're being told all bodies are beautiful. How do we go to believing that on a dime? Okay, in this question, what I'm hearing is just that how you take care of your body, how you nourish and feel about your body, is a thing that you are allowing outside opinions and phases and trends and zeitgeist to tell you if that is okay. You are operating from an outside-in orientation in which you scan the environment to find out how you are supposed to be, as opposed to an inside-out orientation in which you check in with yourself, feel what is true for you, be that, and then let your universe rise or fall around you, letting those who are for you be with you, and those who are not fall the fuck away. I try not to curse on here, sorry. However, yeah, listener, a love bomber is someone who, like, at the beginning of a relationship shows up with like a million compliments and flowers and super intensity and treats you like you're the greatest thing that ever happened to them, and then like once they find out that you're kind of a human being, or you're not perfect, or you like have finished scratching an itch for them that they need scratched, they like disappear, and your neurochemicals have gone on a roller coaster that then like completely bottom out and you get dropped after having been completely hooked in by this person. Not saying that that's ever happened to me. I think you ask them, you say, hey, at the risk of insulting you, I have to share with you that I'm having this experience. You, the person speaking, check in with like the experiences you've shared with this person, and if you think there's actually like been enough opportunity for the depth and volume of feeling that they're having about you. And then you say, you know, gosh, we really don't know each other that well, and so I'm curious, like, do you think that this is really genuine for you, or are you maybe like projecting onto me something that is making you just slightly left of honest right now, because I'm feeling really sensitive to it, or I'm feeling like I'm having a hard time trusting it. That's like if you want to talk about it. If you don't want to talk about it, I would say that love bombing is kind of in the eye of the beholder. Like, are you, first of all, giving too much trust to someone you don't know that well already? Like, are you making choices to move too quickly with someone that you don't know that well? Second of all, I think you know you're getting love bombed less by the actions of the person who's doing the love bombing, and more by the own like way you can scan your emotional roller coaster. And so, what do you need to stay grounded? What do you need to drop an anchor? What do you need to do to make sure that like you're showing up for work, you're keeping your plans and commitments to the people who you know and love and trust? You're not like blowing up your life because suddenly this new person is giving you a kind of attention that is like really an opiate. Slow is never wrong. Slow never ruins anything. If it is true, it will be true in a way that is slow. And so you can say, you know, like, I don't know, hey, I'm really enjoying this, but what I would need in order to feel safe is to understand where this is coming from in you, or, you know, whatever. You can pump the brakes. Are you expecting this new partner to heal some kind of a worthlessness wound in you? Is what they're doing giving you some sort of like just that healing around a worthlessness wound? Are you looking at them or experiencing them as a solution to some belief you have about yourself? And can you do that differently? Oh my god, there are so many more questions. This has to be a 2-part video. Okay, I'm going to do one more here. Okay. When I have anxiety, it interferes with my life and it's physical. How do I work through that? Great question. I am not a doctor. I am not prescribing. I am not suggesting. It is my lived experience that I have been able to heal a great amount of anxiety and depression. That once, you know, checked in with like doctors and whatever, and are your hormones in the right place, and are you nourishing yourself correctly, and have you done the like therapy work around like the past wounding and the childhood stuff, all of that. Sometimes, often, it is the case that when we are experiencing anxiety or we are experiencing depression, it is a sequence of old charges in our tissue that came on in childhood that have been recapitulated and patterned on top of because we were not held in a safe way to feel them when we were young. And so from that constant reinforcement of that experience, that was just so extremely loud. No judgment around medication, but I have found the most unbelievably powerful spiritual, alchemical outcomes from working through somatically. Two things that you can do. One is curate a breath work practice. Okay, let me start with the part two. Part two is you sit down, you ground, you make sure that your body and spirit and soul know that you're in a place of safety, and then you turn towards that anxiety, that physical anxiety, or the depression or whatever, like it is a child within you. You find where it is in your body. Is it in your shoulder, your heart, your back, your tummy, your sex organs? Where is it? And you turn towards it like a loving parent, as though it is itself a child, which probably it is. And you ask it what it needs, what it believes, if there's a sound or shape it wants to make, and you actually go through the movement and the expression of that energy, and you, with your witness, turn towards it and say, yes, that makes sense. You make sense. It wasn't safe then, but it is safe now. If what you are encountering around this is a very deep amount of material or numbness, I strongly encourage people to explore breath work, which is a way of using your breath to irrigate in the tissue energies that have been trapped there for a long time, so that they can come out, be fully expressed, and pop in the form of catharsis that then rains down in a new freedom and a cleaner, clearer energy that is